to share this with everybody. So welcome to Monday Night Meeting. You guys asked, she said yes. You know, if you follow me, if you've been here on our team for a little while, this woman is incredible in all the ways. If you follow her on social media, if you know her story, if you don't, get ready. Before we get going, everybody just say, not today, Satan, because we need my internet to cooperate so that we can stay on for the whole time and so that we can get the recording. But I know that you guys will be 1000% moved tonight by this woman. She has an incredible story of overcoming, of dropping excuses, of showing up in the moments. We met at Jewel Training in Phoenix. I walked into the hotel that we were staying. We both hit, our teams became Emerald around the same time, and walked into this lobby of the hotel that we had to stay at, and the rest is history. A week later, she was calling me an ox, and we've been fast friends ever since. So I know that you guys will be inspired and moved by her tonight. And I want you to open up your hearts and your minds, because anything that you want to happen in this opportunity, 1000% can be yours. All right, Alita, it's all yours.
Well, I want you to move in with me. It's official, because I want someone to introduce me like that everywhere I go. And number two, like, look at my cleavage. Is anyone loving this right now? I can't even believe it. I haven't worn a cleavagey shirt in forever. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, dang, that's a little hanging low there. Okay, I'm so excited. I literally am grinning ear to ear, because Brianne is literally one of my best friends, and she's probably cracking up because I never call her Brianne unless I feel like I need to be professional. So Bri is just one of the most bestest people on the planet. I just love and adore her. And so I'm super excited to connect with all of you. I know a lot of you on here. Is Chelsea on here? I want to say hi to her. But anyway, there she is. Hi. Okay. I just love you guys so much. So thank you for having me on. And my hope is tonight that I can bring it for you, that you might walk away tonight feeling a little more like you can, because I wore a sweatshirt today all day that I wore yesterday and the day before. It had cake icing all over it from my daughter's 8th birthday party, because I stuck my elbow in my son's cake plate. So if I can do this, anybody can. So I want to take you on a little trip. I want to tell you a little story. And then I've written down notes. And if anybody knows me, they know I don't write down notes. I'm not organized at all. But this is how much this call means to me. And I thought, what would I want someone to come tell me? What would I want to know at silver, at gold, at senior gold, at ruby? What would I want to know to be successful? So that's literally what I wrote down, steps to be successful. So first, I'm just going to recap you real fast on my story. So my name's Alita, and I started Plexus 5 years ago. After telling my upline no for 18 months, I think she was on your call last week, the feisty Jen Leith. She was my upline. And she asked me to do Plexus for 18 months. I was like, no, that's not for me. I'm a probiotic snob. I was a homesteader. I taught cheese classes, y'all. Like literally, I was like, this is how you make the mozzarella. This is how you can the food. I was a homesteader, like legit. My husband would joke that we're going Amish one light bulb at a time. I love it. And so as light bulbs would burn out, we wouldn't put new ones in. It was hilarious. Anyway, so that's how I was. I was like, I'm not doing Plexus. So then I decided to give it a try. I'd had 4 babies in 5 years, and my body was depleted. I was like, I need something. So I try the products. The rest is history. I fall in love with them. I start sharing. So around Ruby, senior Ruby, my husband passed away. Suddenly, he had no life insurance. I was 33 years old with 4 kids under the age of 6. I had a new baby, nursing, all the things. Widowed. Okay. Life turned upside down. So as COVID has hit, as people are kind of feeling like, man, my life's been turned upside down. Maybe your spouse has lost their job. Maybe you're not working as much as you used to, or maybe things have changed so much and everything feels uncertain. I know how it feels. And not just because of COVID, but because literally everything in my world changed. 5 months later, my mom died of pancreatic cancer. In Canada, I was flying back and forth. with 4 small kids. A year later, my dad passed away. I had been orphaned and widowed. I literally was like Job, y'all. Okay. People are like, do you feel like Job? I'm like, yeah, I don't want, they're like, read it. I'm like, I don't want to. Are you crazy? And so I realized, I'm like, man, this is happening to me. This is life right here, right now. It's happening to me. And I will never forget the morning I made a choice. I made a decision. And it's not like I woke up and was just like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But I woke up and I remember thinking, I'm at a crossroads. I get to choose what I want to do. I get to choose if I want to just lay down, surrender to life, and just take whatever comes and be like, well, this is my circumstance. This is what was, my calling in life. I'm just going to take it and go. Or I could rise up to the challenge and let go of excuses, even big ones like widow, orphan, losing people, single mom. I could let go of excuses and I could conquer the world. And I decided to be a world changer. And I decided that somewhere deep down there, I wanted to change people's lives, including my own, including my kids, including the people around me and my friends, and to say, I want to take you along with me. And I want you to see what I see. And so I packed the 4 kids into the car and I drove down to Lowe's, which is like a hardware store out here. And I didn't have money to get a dry erase board. Okay. Because they're like millions of dollars. I mean, why do people charge so much for dry erase boards? I was like, okay, I'm going to go down there. I went into Lowe's and I said, I need something like a dry erase board. So he cuts me the largest piece of tub towel you ever have seen. I mean, it was massive. And this girl who's never used a power tool in her life, okay, yes, I could kill chickens and teach cheese classes, but I never touched a power tool. Y'all, I nailed, screwed, hammered. I took all kinds of tools at this thing. I'm terrified and butchered my wall, but hey, I did it. And I hung this thing up in my room. And I wrote down every reason why I could. And I'm talking to somebody tonight. I wrote down every reason I could. I didn't let just the thoughts keep coming to me and keep telling me why I couldn't, why all the reasons that I shouldn't, all the reasons that the world has presented to me that, you can't overcome this. I wrote down every reason I could, and I got serious about it. So now I am not saying go and butcher your wall and power tool something up to your wall. What I am saying though, is how often are you telling yourself why you can do something versus why you can't? There's 2 people. Okay. I'm going to tell you another story. There's 2 people. We got Nancy and we got Polly. Nancy goes, okay. She wakes up and she has these thoughts. I can't message this many people. I can't tell anybody about Plexus. I'm too scared. I'm too nervous. Nobody listens to me. Nobody likes or comments on my posts. Nobody wants to build a business with me. Nobody trusts me. Nobody wants to join my team. My team members I have keep falling off. Okay. If I'm relating to you at all, I want you to put in the comments. Like, I understand it. You get it. Okay. Nancy's feeling this way. Nancy stays in this place. Nancy's like, yeah, this is tough. This is hard. And she lets this keep coming. Okay. And then there's Polly, who has the same thoughts. Polly's not any different than Nancy. Okay. Nancy is over in negative town, feeling like all the things are happening to her, just surrounded by her problems, surrounded by her circumstances, just convinced she can't. Okay. Nancy's telling herself over and over and over why she can't. Polly has the same thoughts, the same fears, the same concerns, but Polly lives in positive town. She'd be listening to her friends who are positive. She's found some people who speak life into her. And she's like, wait a second. No, I can. And I want to show you just kind of the process. She says, yes, I can. I may be a single mom. I may be widowed. I may be, facing life. I may be having kids home all the time. I may be remote learning or homeschooling or whatever, not of any of my own doing. And I can say I can't, but I know I can. I know I can make a difference. I know that I can message somebody and somebody out there needs me. And I know that. And I'm going to post today. I'm going to post anyway. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the thing. But before I do that, I'm going to turn on some Les Brown and listen to It Ain't Over Till It's Over. It ain't over till I win. I'm going to learn to encourage myself and pump myself up and remind myself why I want to. And you see that Polly and Nancy have the same daggone problems. They have the same fears, the same concerns, but they're willing. Polly is saying, I'm willing to overcome it. I'm willing to have an overcoming mindset. Doesn't mean she doesn't have the problems, doesn't mean she doesn't have the fears, but it means she's willing to look at it. You know, I love the analogy of Mount Everest. So you set a goal. Mount Everest is diamond, okay? So I'm climbing Mount Everest, and everything possible has happened as I'm climbing it. Everything possible. And I want you to picture your own life and your own journey in plexus and your own journey of what you want to do and what you want to become. That journey, what does that feel like as you're walking up this mountain? Nobody just casually walks up Mount Everest, right? Am I right? Nobody casually just saunters up Mount Everest. You've got to have the right shoes, the right outfit, the right mindset, the right belief to get you there. So every storm that blew through, yes, we could quit. Every time you fell back in points, every time that you wonder if I can do this, every time someone quits, every time somebody's like, I don't know, and you fall back just a little bit on that mountain, you could slide all the way back to the base and start all over again. You can be a winner. And you can be like, no, I'm here for it. I'm going to change my shoes. I'm going to get dry. I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to sleep in this tent over here in freaking Stormville. And I'm going to get to the top. Because when you get to the top, it's not just about the shiny diamond in the paycheck. I can promise you that. It's who you've become in the process. It's the confidence. I tell people all the time that I would trade every dime I've made in plexus, which has been a ridiculous amount. I would change all of it for the confidence that I feel comfortable in my skin, no matter what size I am, no matter what I look like, to feel confident in who I am, no matter that I was a single mom for years, to feel confident in who I am, to keep posting even when nobody liked it. I had like 300 friends when I started plexus. I had this weird accent when I would make videos. Okay, I'm milking cows as a silver. Like, this is how you become successful in plexus. I'm Canadian. I don't have a Southern accent. I was crazy, but I just did the things. I could have stopped. I could have been like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure. I'm scared, but I didn't. I had those same fears and same concerns. And I stopped many times on the way, on the climb up to Mount Everest. But I was convinced that I could make it to the top. I didn't know how. I didn't know how long it would take me, but I was convinced. And who convinced me? I was convinced before I met Bree. I was convinced before I had a team. Come on, Sabrina, come on. Yes, I convinced myself. How? Through training my brain that I could. You know all the things. You know, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. It's the truth. I'm sitting here telling you it's the truth. I got my Lexus as an Emerald and I was so excited, and I thought I didn't care about cars. I was like, I don't care about cars. I've driven used vehicles forever and I just don't care. Well, I get that thing and I feel like a gangsta. I'm driving around just like a widow baller, like with my kids in the car, we listen to Garth Brooks, the sunroof's open. I'm like, yeah. And of course I tell them we're not eating in the car for their entire life. And there's granola bar wrappers flying around the car because it lasted about 5 seconds. I get to the gym, I'm working out. I go in, I take my purse in. Long story short, I have a really good point to this story, I promise. I go into the gym, I come back out, we go to start the car. It's my very first remote start car. Okay. You just have to have the key somewhere on your body or in your purse. I can't start the car. I go into the gym. My friend Lisa's with me. We can't find my purse in the gym. I'm like, someone has stolen my purse. We call the police. The police come. I'm like, I feel so bad. I'm like, somebody has stolen this widow's purse. Like, they're going to feel so awful when they find out that they stole like a widow's purse. That's extra bad or something. Like, I don't know. Like, this just seems awful. I'm like, so worried. I'm like, put in your report that I feel so bad for this person. So if he turns it in, like, I'm not gonna be mad. And I'm telling her all this stuff. Well, we get in the car to drive home. My friend drives me home. We pull into my house and my purse is in the driveway. I had left it in the driveway while loading the kids in the car. Okay. Like, hello, if I can do it, anybody can. It doesn't take a special personality. It's not a special person. It's just believing that you can. It's Wendy believing that she can. It's Wendy digging deep and seeing all that she can do. It's really believing it and convincing yourself that you can do it. So I'm nothing special. I have nothing more than anybody else on this call. I just convinced myself to believe. So how to be successful. And this cracks me up because I'm writing this down. I'm like, yeah, this is really, I mean, this is truth for me. Number one is to overcome your excuse. Complainers are not obtainers and whiners are not winners. So if you're complaining, it sure as heck means you ain't obtaining. And if you find yourself whining a lot, oh, this is happening and this is happening, and kids are home from school, and I mean, I've seen all over Facebook, everyone's getting puppies, I've got a new puppy, or I've got my husband's home from work and I got all this stuff. Complainers are not obtainers and whiners are not winners. We're using our bandwidth for something, and usually we're using it for complaining and whining. I can't handle it. I've got 2 kids. I've got 3 kids. Well, I got 5 kids. I got 7 kids. It doesn't matter. If you're complaining, you're not obtaining. And that might step on some toes, but I'm here to step on some toes because I want you to grow. So if you're not obtaining your goals, ask yourself, am I complaining? If you're not winning at what you want to win at in life, ask yourself, am I whining? Ask yourself in your relationships, am I complaining about this person? Am I whining about this person? Or am I willing to win this? Am I willing to champion this relationship? Am I willing to champion all the things I want to champion? So say this to yourself: complainers are not obtainers and whiners are not winners. Write it everywhere you go. And one thing I started with my team this past week was, I said, I love our word for the year, but I want a word for the week. I want you to reflect on the week you've had. Did you complain a lot? Did you whine a lot? And I want you to have a new word for the week. My word for this week is be solution oriented. To be solution oriented. Instead of complaining, be solution oriented. Well, snap, the kids are home from school again. So how am I going to work this out? Well, I could get up earlier, or I could set a meal plan in place, or I could make sure that I'm working in the afternoon and they're busy. Whatever it is, be solution oriented. Instead of whining about it, be a winner. Winners are no different. Winners have the same 24 hours you do. They have the same set of problems. Everybody in the whole world is going through COVID. What makes somebody go diamond and somebody not is that they stop whining and they stop complaining and they start obtaining and they start winning. So pick your word for the week and drop it below. What you're going to be intentional about this week. What are you going to be intentional about? Showing up and doing your IPA. Maybe you're going to be intentional about posting. Maybe you're going to be intentional about not complaining or not whining, because the rough times will come. They just will. Rough times will come, but they come to pass. They don't come to stay. And so often we get swept away when the rough time comes. We're so quick to just let it take us away. Let us just drive us down. We're just like, well, I guess the rough time has come and I can't do this. This is my sign. I can't do it. I'm too busy. I got this going on. I got that going on. I am convinced there is nobody busier on the face of this planet than a single mom. Nobody. So if this single mom could do it and build $1 million, multi-million-dollar business from my phone, you can do it too. It's just whether you're spending your time whining or complaining, or if you're spending it winning and obtaining. And if this is talking to you, I want you to talk to me in the chat. Chat with me. Tell me what you're feeling. Because excuses sound best to the person giving them. I'm going to say it one more time. Excuses sound best to the person giving them. Excuses sound best to the person who's making them. I think that I remember being a kid and like telling my parents stuff, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ever thought that they would believe that. I mean, have you ever thought that? Like, man, that's so crazy. Excuses sound best to the person making them. They don't sound good to your upline. They don't sound good to your spouse. They don't sound good to your kids. So instead of making excuses and instead of complaining and whining, we start obtaining and we start winning. So number one of how to be successful is to learn to overcome your excuses, is to learn to be aware of, oh, okay, that's an excuse. That's something I need to work on. Two is vision. The second thing is vision. Do you have vision? Do you have a vision for more? Because Polly, when I was telling you about Polly, you know, she's having the same concerns and fears, but she was willing to pull herself back in and remind herself why she wants to do this. So when you're climbing Mount Everest and people are falling off and people are telling you no and your points are sliding back, remind yourself why you want this. Say, Susan, why do I want this again? Bring it back to me. Tell me the why. Tell me the vision. Write it down where you can see it, where you can just read it real fast. I'm doing this because I want to bring my spouse home. I'm tired of him working all the time. I'm doing this because I want to leave a legacy for my kids. I'm doing this for retirement. I'm doing this because I want my children to know. I'll tell you why I started. I started because I wanted to pay our mortgage. I ended because I wanted to show the world that I was not a statistic, that my fatherless children would not be running crazy, that we were not a statistic, that we weren't just going to fall suit to all the things. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. Has anyone ever felt that way? Like you just want to prove to people, you're like, no, I can do this. You need to have a vision. And when you have a vision that is more than just about you, it includes your family. It includes the people around you. It includes letting people know it's not just about the money. I promise you that. A vision of saying I can accomplish anything I set my mind to, because I'll tell you what Plexus has given me. It's given me options. Money doesn't buy me happiness, but it gives me options. It gives me options to buy into real estate when I want to. It gives me options to travel when I want to. It gives me the opportunities and the options to do the things I want to. My vision became bigger than myself and I became unstoppable. When the vision is bigger than you, you will become unstoppable. When Lisa's team comes under her and she's like, this is about you guys. When Susan shows up to her team calls and she's like, this is about you guys. This is about your team. This is about the people you're reaching out to. This is about the future of everyone around you. And when you can lock arms and grab hold of that vision, you become unstoppable. Complainers are not obtainers, and whiners are not winners. Because when you have a vision, quitting isn't an option. And that's just the truth. If you keep quitting and if you keep stopping, what is your vision? What is your vision? Because I truly believe that success is more your attitude than your aptitude. I have like quotes all over my office. And so I'll be like, okay, what do I want to say? I'm feeling something, but I don't know what to say. And I'll be able to look up and grab a thing. I'm not super smart. I don't have a great memory. I'm not just like, I don't know how many times I've messaged Bree and said, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm a diamond. I don't know half the things y'all probably know, but you know what? I have a great attitude. I believed I could. I poured everything I had into believing that I could. I stopped complaining. I started obtaining. I stopped whining and I started winning. And I got a vision so big that quitting was not an option for me. And if you're on here and this is pricking your heart, I want you to put in the comments, quitting is not an option for me. Quitting is not an option. Part of the vision is persistence. Persistence to show up even when it's hard, even when things are just feel like, man, you know, this is happening and this is happening. You know, I was trying to get on this call and my kids were everywhere. They're trying to shower. We have 7 kids and I'm pregnant with our 8th. And I'm remarried. And I guess I didn't really pull that whole story forward, but I was like, okay, like I can't handle this. I can't get on calls, whine. And I turned on a song because I have a blueprint for success. It's Pink Lipstick, a good song, or a podcast. Because I learned to be persistent. If you keep quitting at every no, and every time your kids are crazy, or every time your husband's like, hey, you know, I don't want you doing that. Or if you quit every time someone quits on you, if you quit every time, it's like, get persistent, get a backbone and tell yourself, no, you're not quitting on yourself. Encourage yourself. Get persistent. And a good song, Pink Lipstick podcast, or a good song, one of the two. Third thing is consistency. We are what we repeatedly do, and it's the truth. And listen, my consistency is not going to be messaging 5 people per day, 3 follow-ups and 2 reach outs. That's not how I was consistent, but I was consistent in showing up, consistent in posting on Facebook, consistent in connecting to my team, consistent in doing welcome Zooms, whatever it was, whatever it took, I showed up for it. I was consistent in showing up. And if you're on here and you're thinking, I can't speak, I'm not a public speaker, I don't really want to ever train on stage, I don't want to win all the contests, I don't want to do anything, I just want to pay my mortgage, I just want to pay for my products, I just want to whatever, fill in the blank. That's cool. That's awesome. And that's needed. But what if I dug a little deeper with you and I told you that no matter what, you wouldn't fail? That Shannon, if you were like, okay, I'm gonna evolve my why from just paying my mortgage to really seeing the bigger picture, and I promise you won't fail. Can you imagine how much more persistent we would be if we knew that failing wasn't an option? Well, failing isn't an option. Quitting isn't an option when you believe. When you really see yourself at the top of Everest. When you feel that you can actually feel what it feels like to pick up that Lexus and have that paycheck in your account and think, is this real life? Somebody pinch me. When you can see that and feel that, that's when you will stop quitting on yourself. And, you know, excellence is just habits. Being excellent, being amazing at what you do. It's not an act, a one-time thing. It's a habit. It's what you're doing on the regular. And so I want you to ask yourself right now, and somebody unmute, somebody brave, unmute and tell me, what do you want? Why do you want diamond? Why do you want the top? Why do you want emerald? Why do you want ruby? Why do you want senior gold? Why do you want it?
For flexibility, the flexibility that it affords when you reach those higher paid ranks, the flexibility to not have to work and maintain your job outside of the home, to have the flexibility to be able to be home, to be able to be present with kids. I think flexibility is huge. I know Bree and I had talked that we say, I stopped saying that it's time freedom, because it's just flexibility instead of freedom. It's being able to have the freedom of the flexibility, but it's still work. It's still showing up. It's still being present and being in those moments. That's what it is for me anyway.
I love that, Mina. And so if you put that everywhere you go, you have a sticky note on your steering wheel and a sticky note in your bedroom, on your mirror, somewhere, that reminds you that you want that flexibility, that you can feel it. You're like, this is what it feels like. You will become unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Okay, Lisa says she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and products paid for and then some. Angeline says, I want Diamond to pay off my student loans. I want you guys to know that you know that you know. Let me see here a second. Okay, there's 36 of you. I would love to see 36 answers to that question in the chat. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's good. Why do you want this? Lisa, I want you to picture being home with your kids. What does that feel like? What does that look like? The freedom to be home with them. I remember knowing that I had an opportunity to be able to stay home with my kids because of Plexus. And even though I was a single mom, I had no work experience. So Lisa, you're probably far ahead of the game than I was. I was a musician, girlfriend. I mean, I cost money. I never made money. And so I don't know. And I was a Canadian citizen. Like, I didn't have any work experience. And so the thought of having to leave them to work 3 jobs or whatever it was, that motivated me. That moved me to be unstoppable and to never quit. And if I could come through this screen right now and grab your face and tell you that you 100% can stay home with your kids, that it is an option for you, that it is like a 100% possibility that you can. And the really awesome part is it won't stop with you. Because as you build this team of people and you're showing them the way and you're saying, this is my vision, this is what I want, this is why I'm doing this, that gives them permission to want the same thing. How many times do we just stop dreaming because it's like, well, that's not possible. It's a get rich quick scheme. I can tell you right now, there's nothing quick about this. But all of a sudden, when you have, $25,000 being deposited in your account and you're literally like, don't even understand the compensation plan fully. Do you think that I look back at that and thought, man, I should have quit at gold like I wanted to? I should have quit at Ruby when I lost a gold leg. I should have quit at Senior Ruby when my husband died. I'm telling you, this is possible. That your dreams are worthy of hustling for. And I love, 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 love. Angeline says she wants to pay off her student loan debts. And immediately I thought, this is so crazy. So I never went to school. I never had student loan debts because I never went. So I have nothing. I have no work experience that's anything powerful, and I have no degree. And she was talking about student loans. But what's crazy is I have a level 1 diamond, a level 2 diamond. And my level 2, Megan Milakovic, go follow her on social media. You'll be blown away. Her and her husband have paid off $100,000 in student loan debt just from Plexus in 15 months. This started out as my vision. It started out with me wanting more for my family, and it's turned into a crazy blessing, just going down and down and down. Megan Milakovic. It's the craziest name. Milakovic. This isn't just about us, but when we have to have the vision first. We've got to start, the source has got to start with us. And when we see it, and when Lisa wakes up every morning like, this is possible for me, no matter what happens to me today, no matter who tells me I can't, no matter who's against me or who's for me, I know this is possible for me. When we become in the business of convincing ourselves that we can, big things happen. Mountains move. Your brains will start to believe it, and you will start to see the fruit of it. I've lived it. Bree has lived it, overcoming and overcoming and overcoming some more. And so my challenge for you this week is to stop whining about why you can't, and to start winning by thinking of ways that you can. Stop complaining about all that are leaving and all that you don't have, and start obtaining everything that you can. You will feel more peace. You will feel more joy. You will feel more excitement. You will feel so fired up you can't handle yourself. Dig deep and grab that vision, because when you do that, quitting will no longer be an option for you. And guess what? That bleeds down to your team. Your team starts to feel that. They start to be like, well, Lisa's going to be staying home with her kids. Yeah. I want to stay home with my kids. And then Lisa's going Emerald. Lisa Medina, I'm picking on you, girl. You got the name, you got the looks, you're going for it. I can see it now. You go Emerald, and your team's like, I want to do what she did. I want to do what Lisa Medina did. I want to do what Ashley Weaver did. With Ashley's gorgeous face all over plastered, just diamonds are raining down. Because Ashley decided, one day just decided to commit and to make a decision to convince herself that she could. One day she said, I'm not a complainer anymore, I'm an obtainer. And she started walking around telling people that. Actually, I'm not a whiner, I'm a winner. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, are you complaining? Because you sure ain't obtaining. And if you whining, you ain't winning, Wyatt. Preach it to yourself over and over again, and you will see magical things happen. Mountains move and all the things. And I'm super awkward at ending, so I'm just gonna let, normally, okay, I did come up with a line, okay? Are you ready for this? Tread light and stay bright. I don't even know what it means. I came up with these, and my team was like, okay, we can get down with that, because I'm so awkward at ending. I'm always like, so I've learned to say, I'm really trying to overcome that. I'm not complaining about it, my awkwardness. I have it. It's a real thing. So I've come up with that line, kind of like stay classy, San Diego, but it's like tread light and stay bright. And then I click leave. What do you think, Bree? Do you like that line, or no?
Freaking love you.
I literally came up with it on my own.
Shocker. I couldn't even tell. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, drop in the comments your top takeaways for this, because this is what I love about what we do. Alita is one of my best friends, but she does not have to be here for us, right? She did not have to say yes. She did not have to show up, but she shows up because she believes that much in what we have in this opportunity. I mean, y'all, like, pregnant with her 8th kid, building a house, a diamond emerald team. I mean, all the things. and she overcomes. It does not mean that she has not had struggle, right? But she's filled with overcoming. And that's something, I mean, I talk to her every day and I'm still like, come on, like I am so fired up right now, right? What are the things that you took away from this that you are going to apply? Because the thing is, you can show up for every Zoom call. You can show up and you can listen to every podcast, but you have to take something and you have to apply it. Are you going to stop yourself from whining? Are you going to stop yourself from the excuses? And then what are you going to do with it? You're here for a reason, right? You show up on these calls for a reason. It's something that you want to happen, or you wouldn't be here. And now you get to apply it and you get to do it. Okay, Alita, you probably will not even talk about this, but I want you to. My team knows I do not plug people. Like I don't plug people outside of Plexus for any reason, because I think Plexus has some amazing things, but I also know that there are some hearts that really could use you all of the time. And so are you willing to talk about this tonight? Because this was not planned, but Alita is starting a month-long, will you talk about this just for a hot second?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're so sweet to bring it up. I'm just doing a one-time only month-long coaching course on mindset that is all structured around overcoming, basically through all my trials and grief and losses, how I trained my mind to get to where I am. So a lot of like kind of what we talked about tonight, but just really deep diving, how to pull your fear stories out, how to get rid of those fear stories, how to turn fear into victory, and how to be standing on the top of Mount Everest with your shiny diamond and your big paycheck, and overcoming and knowing that your circumstances don't define you. So it's called Homemade Happiness Life.com. I almost forgot. And yes, tread light and stay bright.
So if that's something that you feel a little bit called for, I don't know of anyone that gets to the top of this. And maybe your goal isn't top, right? Maybe your goal isn't emerald or diamond, or maybe you want like gold will fulfill where you want to be. And that is beautiful, right? Wherever you want to be, but it 100% is about who you become on the way to get there and what you're willing to overcome and what you're willing to plug into. And so if you have that on your heart, if that's something that you feel, I mean, coaching has been the best thing that I have ever done for my business, hands down. Preston Pugmire, working with Kristen Boss right now, like hands down will help you grow and help you start in those places. If that's something, Alita, do you want to type it into the comments so that they can go there? Or message me after this and I'll grab
doing it now.
Alita, so that's something that you guys can plug into a little bit. I will get the recording for this uploaded. I know I've already gotten messages. People want to go back and watch it again so you can take notes. But take one thing from tonight, put it on a sticky note, put it on your mirror, and apply it for your week with your word. And then I want you to drop it in our group chats, what you are taking away from this and that you're going to plug into for the rest of the week. All right, it's 9:47. We're going to hop off. I would love if you guys could just drop, I know we can't all unmute at the same time, but just drop a thank you to Alita in the comments, because I know that I took stuff away from this and I know that y'all did too. Alita, I love you. I miss you. I'm moving in. Get ready. You got.
I love you too. Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
You guys have the best leader. I love you.